Buddy Mission Bond kind of came out of nowhere. Originally unveiled during the October 2020 Partner Direct, gamers were introduced to this new IP that was being developed by Koei Tecmo and published by Nintendo. New IP? Nintendo behind the game? That kind of sounds like a shoe-in for the West, right? Well, as things stand right now, Buddy Mission Bond is language locked to Japan. With that being the case, if you don't know Japanese, you might be wondering if the game is actually worth taking a look at. Well, we're here to talk about that and a whole lot more. Danny from the Famicast here, now celebrating 10 years of gaming goodness. If you're new to the channel, please be sure to subscribe and turn on those notifications. Leave a comment down below and we may read it out on our bi-weekly show called the Famicast. But today, we're taking a look at Buddy Mission Bond in this review. We'll be taking a look at the game's performance, gameplay mechanics, the chances of it coming to the West, accessibility for non-Japanese speakers, and more. Now, I just want to start out by saying that I'm not going to go into heavy spoilers or anything here on Buddy Mission. Honestly, at this point, I'm still making my way through the story mode. A lot of things have kind of kept me away from being able to complete the game. Just life, a new cat, and stuff like that. This is the type of a game, especially when you're playing in another language, that you need some time to be able to sit down and focus. And I just haven't had a lot of time like that. But anyways, there are a number of main missions that are available here, as well as side missions and stuff like that to choose from. So now, if you're wanting to know what the game is about and how it plays, well, you're definitely in the right place. If you're looking to get some kind of an in-depth look at the story or some kind of breakdown like that, there's probably other videos for you. So anyways, with that out of the way, let's just go ahead and dive in. Now, just in case you didn't know, Buddy Mission Bond is an adventure game that is somewhat similar to games in the Ace Attorney series, well, minus the court cases. Here, players start out by playing as police officer Luke Williams, as he's basically working his way through the ranks and stuff like that. Now, over time, and through a variety of circumstances, you will meet up with several other characters throughout the experience. 3 of these will eventually become your buddies. These guys are Aaron, Mokuma, and Chesley. Now, Aaron is a renowned diamond thief who is a bit rough around the edges, kind of figuratively and with his clothes, quite literally. He nicknames Luke Doggy early on in the game and plays off of that throughout the experience here too. Now, Mokuma is a star of a stage show called Ninja-Jan. While he basically is a ninja, he would rather spend most of his days drinking and pursuing women. He kind of serves as a bit of a comic relief here. Now, Chesley is a master thief that feeds off of the rich, powerful, and the corrupt. Now, he's a bit of a psychopath when it kind of boils down to it, but at least he's polite about it. Now, altogether, these 4 form the group Bond and are working together to snuff out the criminal activities of the mysterious group Discard. Now, Discard is responsible for a number of murders, crimes, and, well, just general malfeasance. Now, each member has their own reasons for wanting to see the group go down, and eventually they all make their way to the glamorous Mikagura Island to make it happen. Now, Buddy Mission is set up as kind of like a series of manga. Now, you won't see this when going through the missions for the first time. However, you are able to actually go through each episode freely after completing them. They're kind of laid out as issues of manga, complete with cover art and short explanations of what's going to unfold in the issue. It's a really nice touch here. And also there are a lot of, like I mentioned earlier, there are a lot of side missions and bonus content, which is also available in a similar, visually pleasing fashion. Now, missions themselves are typically laid out in the following way. First, you have a series of dialogue, there's a search mode to hunt for clues, choosing your buddies, then you investigate a map for more information, and then you'll have this infiltration style mission where you have basically complete control of the characters, and then to wrap things up, you have kind of like another set of dialogue. Now, there is sometimes a bit of variation on this, but by and large, these are the kind of things that you're going to be doing here. Now, like I mentioned, Bond is full of tons and tons of dialogue, most of which is actually spoken. Now, while a majority of the time you will be just along for the ride, there are times when you'll need to respond to questions or interject in conversations and stuff like that. Now, these often lead to gains or losses in what's called a hero meter that you can see in the upper right-hand corner of the screen. Now, this meter is used to determine your final mission rank. A little bit more on that later. And this will either go up or down based on questions that are answered correctly or if you find ways to combat a conversation appropriately. Now, the map serves as a way to investigate and track down additional information that will help you complete missions. Now, before heading out, you will need to choose which buddies you're going to be taking along with you. Now, there are a limited number of moves to make on the map. So you're going to have to kind of think accordingly and kind of go off the information that you see on the map about what type of a place this is, what type of people you might encounter and stuff like that. Now, being story-based, you'll be obviously chatting with a lot of people at these different locations and hopefully getting some helpful information out there too. Now, when you find yourself in conversations, you will at times be prompted to initiate something called critical talk.
Critical talk.
Now here, you're tasked with choosing the right character for the situation at hand. For example, if you're talking with a well-mannered, law-abiding citizen, Luke would probably be a good choice to get more information. If you're talking to somebody that's a thug or some kind of shithead like that, Aaron might be the best to beat it out of them or something. Now, some of the areas actually require specific characters to obtain information, like some of these areas on the map. Now, for maps that have multiple rounds of movements, you can actually change out your party in an effort to get the information that you need. Now, Buddy Mission offers several options that will help you jog your memory if you're a forgetful idiot like me. Now, a full look at the most recently spoken dialogue can be viewed with the press of the Y button, while deeper hints that recall previous conversations can be accessed with R. Now, not only this, but you can actually save or load games at nearly any time throughout the experience. Now, this comes in handy if you feel like you made a stupid mistake with the dialogue, or if you just want to see a different outcome by the choices and stuff like that. There are some segments of the game that use a more game-like engine here. Now, these sequences usually consist of some kind of infiltrations of specific areas and are more or less limited to these free-roaming areas that feature 3D polygonal graphics with a cel-shaded look. Now, here you can move around the character freely, position the camera, and even do a few different actions here as well. Now, they are somewhat limited though, and mostly case-sensitive. So, for example, if you go up to a door, a button press indicator will come on, so you can press a button. Or if you come up to a pile of boxes or something like that, you can vault over them with the press of a button, stuff like that. Now, these parts are fun enough, but clearly not the focus of what Buddy Mission is. Now, with that said, they do come across as a bit of a weak point of the experience, but then again, like I said, this is definitely not the focus here. Now, at the end of each mission, you will be given a ranking based on how well you did. Now, this is based on quite a few parameters here, like, for example, how hero-like your behavior was, how effective you were with questioning and answers and stuff like that. Now, if you manage to get a high rank, like usually an A or an S, you will unlock bonus short episodes and missions for the characters. Now, this could be an inspiration for some to go back to play through missions multiple times in an effort to unlock everything in the game. Now, just to note here too, missions themselves can take anywhere between 30 minutes to like an hour and a half or so. And with this and with the Japanese, it kind of just depends on how fast you can read or get through things. Now, things here might seem a little bit formulaic, but I found the actual content and conversations pretty enjoyable overall. Now, if you'd actually like to see a little bit more about how to play Buddy Mission, I would suggest checking out my English quick guide that I made right here on YouTube. If you opt to just try out the free Japanese demo, it should be able to help you get through things. So take a look at that. Now, you can tell that a lot of care and effort went into Buddy Mission Bond on the visual front. Now, the character design in the game was handled by Yusuke Murata, the same artist behind popular manga series One Punch Man and the American football-based manga Eyeshield 21. Now, the game sports a manga anime style visual aesthetic that permeates throughout the whole game. Now, with the majority of the experience consisting of dialogue, this comic book aesthetic can be seen pretty much everywhere. Now, comic panels, sounds being written out, and more help let players know and realize that this is basically a living manga. Now, while the visuals here might not be to everyone's taste, I found them to be actually pretty enjoyable throughout the experience. Things are sharp, animations, while minimal, look pretty great, and the game runs at a smooth frame rate throughout. It looks good in handheld too, so yeah, I mean, I don't think it could go wrong here when it comes to visuals. Now, the segments that have you controlling the characters in these semi-open 3D environments offer kind of a different kind of look, like I mentioned previously. Now, all the Bond members are shown off as full 3D models. Now, while things do run without a hitch for the most part, the environments that players will find themselves in are a bit small and limited. So, and again, it kind of makes sense given that the game is focused mostly on story here, with these kind of just being more or less like a nice small addition to the overall experience. I mean, it works fine visually, but there are some limitations. Now, Buddy Mission features a pretty bombastic soundtrack with numerous jazz-inspired pieces and themes. Now, on top of this, things here are fully voiced throughout the majority of the game. Several high-profile Japanese voice actors are featured here and do a pretty bang-up job believably portraying these characters and bringing them to life. Now, if you're looking to actually play this game right now, just know this, the barrier of entry is actually pretty high. To make sense of the story and even to know what to do requires some kind of working knowledge of the Japanese language. Now, I think that you could get through things by trial and error, but it would probably take a lot of patience, and you'd be missing out a lot on the story, which is basically the main draw here. Still, if you're feeling adventurous, be sure to check out the free demo on the Japanese eShop. Again, like I said earlier, we do have a quick English guide available, so that might be able to help you get through it. As for the game coming to the West, well, at this point, we've learned that another pretty hardcore Japanese adventure visual novel style game is coming to the West with Famicom Detective Club. Now, while that is happening, it seems that Buddy Mission Bond was kind of left out in the cold, in my opinion. I think that there's some appeal for this game for people in the West, and I think that some people would absolutely dig it. At the same time, it's a very niche genre, and it's a game that just might not make sense financially for Nintendo and Koei Tecmo to actually fully localize. Keeping my fingers crossed here, but yeah, it's just kind of like, doesn't seem like it's going to happen at this point. Now, Buddy Mission Mon is a cool game that I really think needs to come out in the West. It probably won't, but I really think it should. Now, while I think the appeal here might be a little bit limited, there is a certain subset of gamers that would find this game appealing. Now, the game itself can be a little bit formulaic at times, but I think the unique story, the setting, characters, and the awesome visuals really help it stand out. If you have the ability to speak or read Japanese or whatever, I think you should give it a try. If you don't, but are still kind of interested, check out that free demo and see what you can get out of it. Now, as always, thank you guys for checking out this video. If you like what you see, please feel free to drop this video a like. If you're new to the channel, please be sure to subscribe. We've got tons of podcasts, video reviews, looks at Japanese exclusives like this, and a whole lot more. Again, this is Danny from the Famicast. Thanks for watching, and we'll catch you later.
忍法早着替え。あ、パンツ履き忘れた。
履き替える必要ないですよね。
てめえらいい加減に